This is the Bottom Line Sports Show with Gerald Brown and Rick Mahorn.
Imagine you trade a Chet Holmgren for a Giannis Antetokounmpo.
These guys are athletic as you know what, and you go like, oh my gosh, where's the fundamentals? Where's the pass first mentality? That's not in the league anymore.
And now here's your host, Gerald Brown and Rick Mahorn.
How's it going? We're back again. Once again, we're back. Better than ever. Gerald Brown, Rick Mahorn. Rick, I'm super excited because we got a dynamic guest on tonight, man. And, you know, Rick, I always talk about the fact is that it's so important for us in this show and this platform to be able to acknowledge some of the great individuals, because so much time in so many ways in this era of technology, it's easy to forget a lot of these great individuals. So I'm really excited about that. How you doing today?
Man, what up, Joe? I'm doing great, man. Let me tell you this. I was talking to a friend of mine earlier from Philadelphia. His name is Snoop. And of course, everybody, you know Snoop. I know about 30 Snoops, but this was the one we were talking about LeBron James. And I saw LeBron up close and personal last night. And fortunately, the Pistons won without having Cade Cunningham and also Isaiah Stewart. You know, two very prominent guys that really make sure that, you know, they play the game the right way and they understand the game. But when you talk about, we forget so many people forget us. They forget us. They forget the way that it all evolved. That's what it is. But with technology, if LeBron can play till he's 50 and then ice his body, man, I ain't mad at him. Get all that money. Get money.
As well as, look, we got Manny Pacquiao, Floyd Mayweather. They get ready to get in the ring, 47 and 49. I mean, hey, it don't stop. So it's a different day and age and the era.
But here, you know, here's the thing. You know, I was talking, and like I said, I got a lot of friends. Got a lot of friends in different places and in different venues. And they were telling me the scope of things. They are telling me that WWE is number freaking one. And then it's the National Football League. Then it's basketball. And I was like, God dang, what the hell's going on? But the fact is, man, it's exciting. But when I was talking to Snoop, let me go back a little bit. When I was talking to my man Snoop, he was talking about how, you know, basketball is different from when I played and even when the guys before me played, the Tommy Heinsohns and the Bill Russells, the Wilt Chamberlains, and when they started this league back in the 50s. And I go like, yeah, but they don't have the stuff they got now. In technology, let me just say this to you. Look at us. You where you are and I'm where I'm at. And I can talk to you through the internet. It's like we living in the Jetsons, boy.
It definitely is, man. And our guest, I'm gonna bring him on momentarily, is one of the best in the business. And I'd say that, you know, and definitely gonna make sure we give him his flowers. I want to get right into this whole thing. We got Sweet 16 talk. We're gonna talk about college basketball. Definitely, you know what? I want to get in this whole situation with this Giannis Antetokounmpo, the Players Association, and then back and forth where Giannis is really fighting this, decision by management to shut him down for the rest of the season. They're basically saying that the NBA Players Association is indicating that the Bucks are trying to tank for the season. And this sounds good, right? Sounds good. In most situations, you would think that perhaps maybe that would be the case. Yeah, the Bucks can enhance their draft pick. But there's a little known fact, or better yet, an overlooked fact that is out there. The Bucks do not control their first round pick. They have an opportunity with a swap pick with the New Orleans Pelicans. And the Pelicans, because of the Drew Holiday trade, they will have the option to take the better pick. So essentially, Milwaukee is doing the Pelicans a favor if they are in a space where they don't make the playoffs or the play-in. Rick, what do you make of this situation? It seems like it's just gone from bad to worse in Milwaukee with Giannis.
The assumptions that we do see from the outside looking in and not knowing what the room is laid out to be. But you look at it, I'm going like penalty. I'm throwing the yellow flag. I'm on Milwaukee, because you know what, you can, when you in society today, and we talk about the internet, we everybody's getting news like instantaneously, and you go, wow, I hope that don't happen. I hope but I'm from a player standpoint, I ain't mad at Giannis. I want to play basketball, I want a ball. A lot of guys will say, well, let's look at Philadelphia. You go, Joel Embiid ain't playing, so what we missing? I don't know, and I'm not in the know on that. But only thing that I see from the surface. But man, if you're trying to tank, then you know what? Cha-ching! Let's go ahead and get that money. Get money. Isn't it about getting money? Get money. Well, and that's when you just look at, are you playing fair? Is this a fair? Is this fair? I mean, if you're, and if New Orleans, who is not doing that well as themselves, hey, they're gonna get a bunch of ping pong balls and say, okay, I'm in that top five lottery. Let me get that. Let me see who's the best player in college. And you talking about this, Cinderella, the basketball, the tournament. I think it's just great and exciting. But these are one games. We talking 82. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? We talk about 82 where you get out there. I learned. Look, I'm till this day at my age, I'm still learning. I was on air last night and I asked, they were asking about Aiden for DeAndre Aiden for the Lakers. They said, Rick, do you know who's the second pick of that draft? And I had to go like, well, damn, I don't know. You said, well, Aiden was the number one pick. You go, the number one pick, but he's been traded 3 times. And you go like, he was the number one pick. But then you look at who was second. It was Marvin Bagley.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I go like, oh, well, I mean, you look at drafts and you go, okay, this guy, that guy, this guy, and you go, I don't know. The same way with Greg Oden, and then you got Kevin Durant going next, and you go, well, they messed up later on. They'll say that, but Aiden is still playing and playing at a high level. Just because he was the first pick doesn't mean he's going to be this Shaquille O'Neal or this Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. It ain't that many more like that, because those are seasoned guys that played 4 years of college and they learned how to play.
Yeah. Speaking about a guy that's played, before we bring our guest up momentarily, the other big story that's out there is the whole NBA, the Players Association, has really asked for some type of reform or adjustment, if you will, to the 65 game rule, impacting a gentleman that you get a chance to see play up close, being Cade Cunningham. Cunningham is dealing with an injury right now. He's going to be out for some time. But obviously, he's going to miss the time that perhaps would interfere with him, restrict him from winning some of these awards. I agree. I think that obviously there needs to be an adjustment because, look, before the injury, I said he was my MVP, hands down, what he has done. What has been your thoughts on just really, again, this whole, making an adjustment, an exception to the 65 game rule in which players must play to be eligible for postseason awards?
My thing is, if you know Cade Cunningham, like I know Cade Cunningham, yeah, you want to win MVP? Hey, if it comes, but the big thing that Cade Cunningham, which is nobody really, he's the most humble. I mean, when I say humble, man, I'm sitting there going like, I'm your fan. I'm a fan because you treat this as like you want you're on a team game and you treat this like I just want to win a championship. Man, oh, you get all the awards and put them all on, you put them everywhere. I got awards, we all got awards, individual awards. But when you're playing a team sport, I want to win a championship. Why? Because I want to win it with my boys. I want to win it with these other 15 guys that's on the squad and the coaches and everybody in the organization. That's more important to him than winning the MVP. And when you say 65 games, hey man, you hope everybody can last 65 games, right or wrong. We're gonna let him rest tonight. Man, that's bullshit. If the guy can walk and act like, a lot of times guys just want to get out there and play. Look at we already just talked about
Yeah.
Giannis, and Giannis wants to play ball. He don't want to be sitting there going like, nah, I want to play ball. This is what I get paid for. We'll find some guys out there say, well, I'm not going to play back to back. That's just a little bit too strenuous. Well, that's your problem. If you don't want to play back to back, that's, you're taking away from the fans that do love you as a player, but you also take away from your teammates. Your teammates I'll sit back and be like, man, excuse my French, but that motherfucker don't want to play tonight, man. Please, I'm gonna go sit over here too. What the hell?
Yeah.
I'm just saying, G. I'm just saying.
Hey, you are the bad boy. Before we bring our guests on, listen, go subscribe to the channel, theBelineSportsShow.com. We got a lot of content that's been there for several years, from Penny Hardaway, Charles Oakley. The history of the Bottom Line Sports Show is unprecedented. So again, we've been on Sirius XM, NBA Radio, to now doing this. Just go back, do yourself a favor, go and look in the archives and subscribe to the channel. Without further ado, let's bring our guest on right now. And obviously, he's a legend in a sport that, again, we're all getting hyped for and been a part of the Sweet 16, the Final Four. And you know what? As you would expect as an official, you're going to be on time. And rather than having this gentleman wait, it's an honor and a privilege to bring him on. The one and only, the outstanding one, Mr. Ted. No, don't you do that. Don't you do that. He's got a podcast. TV, Teddy TV. Hey, it's unbelievable. We're going to get into all of that. The legendary Mr. Ted Valentine. Ted, thank you so much.
Forget that, man. Give me my money back, man. You done kicked me out again, man. I'm done with you.
Hey, he just told a story, and I had to say something first before you ask your first question. He's with the Sixers in 1989. And I don't know if Rick remembers this or not. I was debating whether I wanted to go to the NBA. I was already in the Big East and that. And him and Charles, David Robinson was first coming in the league, and they was beating him up. Okay. and I understand. And I remember some of the language that Rick used, and I won't use it here.
Me?
Yes, you and Charles both. And you know what? I look back at them days. I kind of wish I never called those technical fouls.
But see, Teddy, here's the thing. When I look at it, like, I got, Gerald, I'm sorry, but I got a question for you.
Absolutely, go ahead.
Hey, Teddy, and this kind of put. I was pretty upset. They rescinded a technical, and they go, this was Luka. I'm giving it to you, Luka. They go, it's like you getting your 16th technical, dude. You don't want to miss a game, but yet you get out there, and I'm just like this. They wouldn't have did that back in the day.
No, they wouldn't have.
Is it about this? Sometimes when I look at it, I go like, yeah, Luka's a big draw. I'm not going. I'm not a big. You ain't gonna go see Rick Mahorn play a little game, but you're gonna go see Luka because it's all about this right now. Oh, let's take that technical back. Let him play.
That's probably true. But hey, I wouldn't pull no punches back or anything else. It's the same way now with the NIL. It's the same way. So welcome to the new world.
Welcome to the Big Bang Hank, son.
Right. Welcome to the new world. They better not see the NIL players sitting on the bench with 4 fouls. Better not.
With $4 million, man.
Man.
It's a lot. Ted, thank you so much for joining us. I got to ask you right off the bat, and just obviously doing the research, you had a baseball background, playing college baseball, playing high school baseball. Was there any indication, or was there any interest of going the route of being a baseball umpire as opposed to being a college basketball official?
Well, I have to back up to those days. 1976, 1980, I went to Glenville State College, and it's a little bit different, a little distant. It's in West Virginia, okay? And
Where?
West Virginia.
What's the name of your school again?
Glenville State College. What? That's right. What? Okay. And it was an NCAA school, and I was a college baseball player. I was pretty good. And I tried out for the Cincinnati Reds. I actually tried out. I went to the Riverfront Stadium. I was a first baseman and a pitcher, and they wanted to put me out in right field. I went out in right field, and I'm playing, them dudes could throw like a cat. I mean, they could throw on a rope. And I could throw some, but not like they could throw. I mean, they hit the cutoff man, hit him in the right hand, bam. When I was throwing, it was either over their head, over here, and it was bad. And I was there about 3 days, and I woke up and I realized this wasn't for me. And I left on my own. I was a decent baseball player, and that just goes to show you there's people out there that can play any type of sport better than you. And that was the first time I ever had to face that. And I faced it, and I went to back home. I was a school teacher in West Virginia, and I went to school with Lady Gaga's mom. So I decided to be a school teacher. How I got into refereeing, I was a janitor when I was in college, and you got to start small.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
And I was on work study, and there was this, it was a predominantly white school was playing, and there was two brothers out there refereeing. And I was watching them. I was cleaning up the gym and sweeping it up. And I asked him, I says, how do y'all become one of them? Okay, because they was having so much fun. And so later on, I started, and the rest has been history. I mean, it just took off. I mean, I left the teaching job, and the rest has taken off for 43 years. And I'm just graced by God to be in that long and leave and not have a knee replacement or a hip replacement. And I'm just very lucky. I'm just very fortunate. I mean, the grace of God. I mean, really.
Well, Teddy, you talk about an NAIA school. You think Hampton was a big old school that I went to?
Well, I tell you what, but Hampton was bigger than Glenville State College.
Yeah, you probably D12 or whatever they. Hey, but Teddy, my son, my baby boy wants to be a referee.
Okay.
And I put him in touch with some, and he was working for the Pistons as well. And so what you just said, it kind of like, okay, he's a mechanical engineer.
Okay.
And all of a sudden you go like, you listening to your story from school teacher to janitor and all that stuff, and you go like, I thought you was at Abbott Elementary or something like that. That dude on Abbott Elementary know everything, but
right
to do that and to get that break and seeing guys have that fun, the way my son sees the guys, even when I bring him to the games today, he's like, oh, this dude reference, oh my, blah 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 blah. But to get the respect that you've gotten in this league, what does it take for them to have that integrity? Charles and I Charles was nuts.
Right.
And Charles is still nuts.
Yeah,
but, but the fact is he's entertainable. And that's right. What really, when you look at it, what makes you, that be there that long and say, man.
Well, first of all, I have to thank two people. I got to thank my dad. That's one, because he was a military, he was a Marine, and I was his only child. My dad came to watch me once, and I'll tell his story. I was working the Fab Five in 1986 at the Ohio State. Jalen, Chris Webber, I was working them. They were playing, and my dad showed up, and Jimmy Jackson and them were playing. Gary Williams was the coach, and my dad came to watch me and watched me play sports, but never said a word. That old school. Never seen him shed a tear. Never heard him say they loved you. Never patted you. You just did your thing. Because I was always told that if I embarrassed his name, he would disown me. Okay.
I do that now. This is my name, not your name. This is my name.
Okay. So my dad, first time I got any money, and I lived in north of Columbus, Ohio, and I took my dad across the street, and I, wanted to show him that, hey, your son's making it now. Your son's starting to make it. And I bought my dad his dinner and that, and dad was smoking a cigarette and just sitting there real quiet, drinking his drink. And all of a sudden I decided, well, you know what? I'm a man, so I guess I'm going to ask him. I got brave all of a sudden. And my dad was a big guy, and I always feared my dad. Always did. I never said anything back to him. Never. I mean, 10 Hut, it was like that military, you had that military style in you, even though I never served in the military. And I said, Dad, can I ask you a question? He smoked a cigarette and says, put it in the ashtray and says, go ahead, son. So I go, Dad, how do you think I did? My dad says, do you really want to know? Do you really want to know? I said, yes, sir. He said, I'm going to say something to you. He says, number one, you got that damn baby face. And then number two, they'll run your ass over. That's what my dad said to me. And I went, you sit there real quietly. My dad left, patted me. I got in the car and drove home. I had tears in my eyes, because I wanted his approval. That's what I basically wanted. His approval was different than any coach. So I started refereeing through the years, and a couple years later, I ran into John Thompson. He was in California. He was. In fact, I had McKembe and Alonzo both play in college. So I was doing something that they ended up in NCAA wanted us to do in the rules, and Georgetown was running them subs in, and I went. And I said, oh, you guys can't go in. You can't go in. And John Thompson says, what in the hell do you think you're doing? He started on me, and I kind of like cringed. What in the hell do you think you're doing? Who told you to do that? I said, the NCAA. He says, F the NCAA. He says, come here a second. I'll never forget this. Took that towel and put it on my shoulder, and he says, you'll be a great referee when you get an effing mind of your own. And I walked away. I kind of like, years later, I found out what my dad was saying and what John Thompson meant. John Thompson was like a father to me. I mean, I referee his game now. He'd give me some hell, and I'd have to check him up. But he wanted to see, are you a strong black man? Are you strong? Are you out in this world? Are you letting this world do anything they want to do to you? And right then and there, something just rose up inside me. I mean, but those are the two people that were very influential to my career. And years later down the road, it was all tested. And now I'm just a finished product.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful story, man.
That is really, and it leads to my next question, Terry. When obviously, seeing you is obviously, I'm a big fan of college basketball, but seeing people that look like me,
Right.
from Ed Hightower and stuff, I thought that was so important because a lot of times we don't get a chance to see. All we see is the guys that's on the basketball court that's
Right.
playing. We never get a chance to see the officials or people behind the scenes that understand and be exposed to that. When you spoke about that, was that one of the reasons why when you had some of those run-ins and, like the whole situation, and I know Mick Cronin and stuff, and just having that, was there a sense that, listen, I'm a black man, and obviously that position is one where somebody's going to hate you and one team will love you. Was there any challenges with that you almost had to feel like I had to stand up for myself? Because as an official, especially at that level, you have to really be thick-skinned in those situations.
Well, I think it's by the grace of God and just the two people that I mentioned. And when I really started having a lot of confidence in my ability, once I started having confidence in my ability, I knew what I could do. I just told myself, and I had a good supervisor named Bob Workman, worked in the NFL number 84 years ago. And he saw me as a kid and he said, you have all the talent in the world and you need to put your foot in their ass. I got that. I came in the Big Ten in 1986, and Bob Workman called me and took me to the St. John's Arena, and Ohio State and Indiana was playing, and we were sitting up the top, and he wouldn't let the other referees know that he was there. He was supervisor. He said, "Don't be like him. Don't be like him. Don't be like him." So he took me under his wing and said, "What I want you to do is I want you to call technical fouls on every Big Ten coach." And that year, I teed Judd Heathcote up. I teed Gary Williams up. I teed Bob Knight up. He said, "I want you to tee everybody up because then you'll know how to handle yourself and you'll control your emotions when you do it." He says, most referees are very emotional when they call technical. He said, I said, well, how do I do it? He said, you have to set them up. So when they're going and Katie and them guys are going, just say, "Coach, you're breaking my concentration." He keeps breaking concentration. He said, "Just turn around and call technical foul." And I teed up every coach in the league that year. Every coach. And I learned how to get that out of my system. Well, that league got me ready to go to the Big East with John Thompson, Raleigh Massimino, Jimmy O'Brien, Jimmy Calhoun. Well, that basically got me ready. I mean, it was basically getting me ready because you're going to be dealing with these juggernauts your whole career. And I went through and I handled everybody. I just handled everybody. I just did. I just started handling it. I just learned how to take it upon myself. Probably the only thing that I did was protect the integrity of the game, because when I saw the officials were scared, I wasn't scared.
Yeah. I know you weren't scared. I know you weren't scared. You weren't being intimidated. I understand.
Right.
I see where you got your foundation from. But
yes,
Teddy, when I always look at the referees. Now that we have women refereeing,
right.
Val, I miss Val Palmer. I thought Val was very good at what she did.
Right.
Also, when I look at it, we started with 2 refs. Now it's 3 refs.
Right.
Do you think it should be a 4th ref?
Well, I think this day and age, with the number of cameras, we should have 4. I mean, but you're still gonna have mistakes. I don't care what they do. There's still gonna be when there's human element involved. There's still gonna be some mistakes. There's still gonna. You're not gonna get a perfect game. You're not gonna get it. It's not gonna happen. There's a human factor involved, and I think if you put 4 people out there, then you're waiting on. Well, maybe you get it. Well, maybe you get it. Well, maybe you get it. I've been in that way with a 3-person crew, but maybe you'll get it. And it's on the other side, whatever, it's just missed. Because so many times you're relying on a person to do something and you don't get involved sometime. And that's what I see happening now. I mean, that's exactly what I see. If you watch some of these games now, there's missed calls and there's usually 2 pair of eyes in the area, but they're waiting on somebody else that may have been around a long time. Well, maybe you get it. And by time's up.
Is it positioning? Because when, of course, I came to the league when it was just 2 officials.
Right.
And let me tell you something. I knew where they were. I studied you guys to know when I can knock the shit out of somebody and when I can do the things I needed to do. And knowing that when I would see Joey Crawford, I knew one time and Joey Crawford looked at me, he's like, "Oh, okay. It's like that, huh?" I said, "Well, hey, I just did my shoulders shrug and but always had that smile and that scowl to make sure that, hey, I know where you are." What was that? Mathis. I mean, Mathis used to get me all the time. I was like, damn, why are you catching me? Because he's studying what we've done before the game. Is that what you look at? You look at different teams and say, okay, this is their technique, and that's how you referee the flow?
Well, what I usually do is back in the past, I'd watch a lot of film, and it'd be like at 5:15 in the morning, I'd be on a flight and I'd be looking through, and I didn't look at the plays that I got right. Okay. I'd always remember the time, because Daryl Garrison and them were big on the time. I always remember the time on the clock, be able to look at the time, and I'd be able to go look at a situation and study. I basically knew all the good players, who's the good shooters, who's the rebounders. I always took it an extra step further, knowing that who could shoot, knowing that you're a good shooting person, you're scoring 30 a game, and you're having a bad game. You're going to do anything you can to get to the free throw line. You're going to do anything you can. Any good shooter that's off will do something illegal to try to get there. I'm just telling you. I just know this game. I just studied to the in and out. And it's just that I always learned from watching good players. I loved big men because I never called any fouls on them. I really didn't. If they were equal size, hey, man, let you play.
Let them play. Yeah.
As long as you're not elbowing, you're not throwing in that. But once I'd see the switch and I see a little dude on a big man and the little dude can't guard the big man, he's going to do everything he can to hold him and do everything he can. And now I get the little dude, So you just learn, have you been around like enough and you've seen teams run their plays enough, I know what they're going to run because I'm one of the few referees that study their plays because I used to coach. I understand. And when they call play, I'm going to look over and say, okay, what's this play 3 down going to do? What's this play going to do? Because I know they're going to come back to that play when they need to come back to. But most officials are not students of the game. They just call whistles. They whistles and they go on to the next one. See, me, I'm a student of the game. I can tell you, watch what you run and pay attention to your subs coming in. Oh, we're going 8 deep today. So you got to watch that other guy coming in there because you don't know he's there to disrupt. So I just paid attention to the game. That's all I did.
And that's what makes you a legend, Ted. I mean, again, like I said before, you definitely know your stuff. And, just to piggyback on what you're saying and what Rick was alluding to, you look at now what you just talked about earlier, the NIL and the impact and the influence it has on these games. And you're talking about these legendary coaches that now are coming from these big time programs in these obviously conferences. How much of an influence do you think that they have as we go into the Sweet 16 in terms of determining how the officials will call a game just based upon the fact is, like Duke and St. John's, it's right. Duke. Obviously, people want the game. How do you think, as you look at this Sweet 16, how much of an impact do you think the coaches will have on how these officials will officiate these Sweet 16 games?
Well, I have to tell the truth because in John it says, the truth shall make you free.
And, amen.
Okay, amen. Okay, see, I'm a church person too. I grew up in the church. And God. And I'm not gonna pass around no collection plate because I know Rick not gonna put nothing in there. But
I'm broke.
You didn't pay no taxes.
I'm broke. I'm still working.
Okay. So
you didn't pay no tithes in a long time. We gonna pray for them.
Okay, but that's okay. But I feel the coaches is watered down. I think it is because the reason why I say that. There's not that many animated people on the sideline back when I was working.
Right.
I mean, you had a lot of, hey, anytime they could come and get you. They didn't care what game. I think that most of the coaches are trying to follow the script of the NCAA. I think it's, because I'm just telling you, because there's times they.
Oh my God, you're telling. Oh my God, this is beautiful. Oh my God.
Because they don't want anything to happen as far as them getting called out, and they don't want, I watch their behavior, and I've been in enough games, and I've seen a lot, and I've seen calls made, and I look at the coach, and I'm going, man, he's not saying anything. I'm telling you, I see you ain't got your Bible.
You see that, right? This is my mother's Bible, so don't think right. I don't know the word.
That's right. Oh, we know you know.
Hey, look, and got a lot of stuff in there.
That's right. Hey, I can go get mine out too. I got a lot of stuff in there too.
This is not only one. I got about 6 of them around the house.
Well, I tell you what. Well, we all need all of them. Okay, yeah. We need the amplified version. Okay, so need not to understand our own understanding, whatever it's called. But basically, I feel that there's less and less older people that have been around, and they're not going to get worked up yet. Now, I'm interested to see when it's a dog fight, how they're going to act. Because I've watched everybody's behavior through this tournament. Everybody's behavior has been pretty good. They ain't been gyrations, they ain't been ever, but I think as you get close to losing, you're gonna see something happen. I think you're gonna see something happen. I mean, because there's no way I can sit along the side like that. There's no way, because you got to say something as a human being. You got to say something. Hey, I love Rick Barnes to death. I love him to death. But if Rick feels something's going on, he'll speak up. Tom Izzo, he'll speak up. Okay? He'll speak up.
Rick Pitino.
Pitino will speak up too. Okay?
Hey, Teddy, did you see I know you had to watch that St. John, Kentucky game.
Yes.
And I'm sitting there watching this game, me and my son watching it. Is it like, okay, take the bad boys, take us, and I'm not looking at college, but you hang your hat on your defense and physicality.
Right.
And we're gonna be stingy, we're gonna play hard. Is it different when a team is basically soft and just trying to go through the motions? Do you kind of, as a referee in your referee world, is it kind of like you're siding, trying to make Goliath and David and Goliath even, or knowing this team plays physically and knowing this team is a soft team anyway? Right. Is it hard to like I said, to make those calls?
I think when I was younger, I struggled with it. However, as I've gotten over the last 10, 15 years, I just call it. I just get in the habit of calling it. Just get in the habit of calling it. Just get in the habit of calling it. Because the only time that I ever gave any mercy, unless you got about 2 minutes left and you get beat by 20. That's when I throw in the mercy flag for you. Okay, I'll throw you some chiclets. You get out of bounds. You can take this. You take that. Okay. Okay, because I think your coach is ready to go to the press conference, let him get his words together, but that's how I referee. I mean, I don't know how everybody else does, but I'm trying to get you out of the building very quietly. That's how I work, get you out.
Yeah, Rick was talking about the Kansas game and stuff like that. That's definitely what he was talking about, So you speak of that and you talk about this upcoming game in terms of obviously Sweet 16 and stuff. From the official standpoint, how important is it, and what advice would you have for these officials to make sure that as we get closer and closer, that it doesn't become about them, but yet about the game itself?
Well, I've been in none of these. I've been in a number of these games. I mean, I know it's Sweet 16, Elite 8, the Final Fours. I feel that you have to let the plays come to you. You basically have to call as the plays come to you. Where I'm concerned about is if you don't have a whistle for about 8 minutes, now all of a sudden here comes your whistle, okay? Because now you feel that you got to get involved. And usually when you try to get involved, the pressure has gotten to you and the pressure will lead to mistakes. That's how I feel. I mean, if you haven't had any calls in a while, and I've always tried to do this, I try to be as quiet as I can until everything goes coming to me. Everything's coming to me. I don't try to go reach out anything extra unless if it's way over there and he's standing over there, he got to deal with it. Okay. Because I always believe in being old school, and Rick would understand this. Every bathtub stands on its own bottom. And my grandma used to say that all the time, because if one leg is broke, you can't hold no water, So Rick, I'm telling the truth.
Hey, you bringing too many memories back, man.
I live by it.
Listen, and I live by that too, because the fact of the matter is that life's too short to be messing around with this bullshit.
Right. I am. Yeah, I'm the same way, man.
Well,
I'm the same way.
Daddy, I got to do something. I got this other job too.
It's okay, take care of it.
Hey, blessings to you. Hey, I'm gonna get your number. I'm gonna let my son talk to you because your influence. Well, when you go,
I'll put us in a group text.
That'd be good. Blessings to you, man. I got so much so much love and respect for you. You know that.
I'm sorry.
We used to sit back there and go like, man, my dog's about to bark. But we used to sit back in the locker room and say, damn, God daggone Teddy Valentine tonight, or Joey Crawford, or Bennett Salvatore. And we were sitting there going like, but Mike Mathis, I wanted to kick his ass. I'm sorry. But nothing but love and respect.
That's okay.
Always. You be good.
Okay.
Gerald Brown, handle my business, man. We'll see
Oh,
you next week.
Rick.
All right. Love you guys.
Hey, Rick, I've been looking forward to hearing from you, man. I appreciate it.
Teddy, I'm telling you, I'm gonna have my son once I get. I know I have your number. Once I get my son, I want him to talk to you because you know what I'm talking about.
I know. Hey,
we good.
Hey, you talking about this and this.
And this, yeah.
Hang out, Ted, before we let you get on that. Rick, I'll talk to you.
All right, man. Enjoy.
So, Ted, you know, like I said before, I want to get your thoughts and opinions. And obviously, you're just giving it real insight and analysis. Watching your show on YouTube is phenomenal. And something that resonated with me, where one of the episodes you were talking about how the Final Four officials are already predetermined. Like they are picked. How does that process go? And how is guys evaluated if the decision is made so well in advance?
Well, a lot of people don't know the NCAA committee sits at the table. You know, if you watch, as we get to the Final Four, you'll see about 10 or 12 of them, and they're sitting at the score. They're sitting at the scores table. Okay, everything goes through them. Any type of evaluation goes through them. If they don't like somebody, they go X out. That's just the deal, because I've been in that and I understand. You know, as times change, less and less people understand basketball. They don't understand it, and I get it. I don't have anything against any of them, but they really don't understand the game. And you could say something to them or not say something to them. I feel that sometimes they go in the games. They know about some officials, because I know they have preconceived notions about me, because they know I didn't care. You know, I'm there to referee, okay? And I'm there to do my job and let you do your process. And they get into a lot of times, I like this guy. I like that guy. See, back when we had Hank Nichols, he called the shots. You know, he called the shots. More and more people, it's at who you can get next close to, who you can get in the NCAA office to. It's about who you can get next to. You know, it's not always, and I say this all the time, just because you're in the Final Four don't mean yet you deserve it. You know, I say that, and I'm one of the first officials to have a platform like this. And we've been 6 weeks, and we got like 900 followers already. You know, we've been in it for like 6 weeks. And it's going to get better. It's going to get better. It's going to get better. And we're going to talk about race. We're going to talk about everything, because this is the game that people want to know. People don't know there's only 8% of black referees in college basketball. 8%. And I researched all that. I feel that it is politicized all the time. It is. And that's the way it's going to be. And as they say, that where I work, you can't be City Hall at times. I mean, you can't, because you don't know who's for you, who against you, who don't like you. See, we've gotten into personality. Everything's got away from the ability. Everything's got away from ability, you know. And it's just how they do things now. Back when I went, back in the 90s, hey, man, those babies were earned, baby. Those babies were earned. You know, you had to referee for those slots, you know. But, hey, I don't have a clue. See, they have it set up like too much. No person should go to 7, 8 Final Fours in a row.
Yeah.
Okay. There's only one guy that I think was the greatest, and he was my mentor, Jim Burr.
Oh, yes. Quality.
Jim Burr taught me. He taught me. Tim Higgins taught me. So
I watched your show.
Yeah. And it's like no person should go 6, 7, 8, 9 times in a row. I went 5 in a row from 1991 to 1995. I went 5 in a row, but I was 31 years old when I came through that, you know. And now they just, I don't know, they think that they can get the pool of 30-some guys to referee the Final Four. I'm telling you, there's not 30-some guys in America that can referee the Final Four. I'm telling you, there's not. And it's just back when I started, there was a bunch of guys that could work. Pete Pavia, the late Larry Limbo, Tommy Rucker could. Eddie Hightower could. Okay. See, we had some legends that could referee. We had some dudes, but this day and age, you don't know why. I mean, but you see the politics of it. You can see the politics. And it's sad the way we've got it, but that's the way we got it, and just, hey, but I think there's some talent out there, but they haven't leashed them yet. They're kind of like slow walking, little baby steps. I mean, but when I came in, boom, they threw you in the game. They threw you in. 35 games, they threw me in. You're either going to sink or you're going to swim, And a lot of people don't know, and I'll cut this, is that I came in the Big Ten in 86. I was in the Southern in 1983. The Big Ten hired 6 referees. They hired 6. Wow. It's 6. The end of first year, they fired 5. I'm the only original guy ever still left. Wow. I'm the only original guy in 86 that's left. They put 6 in and fired 5 first year. Wow. And I kept on walking.
When you look at the landscape of the NCAA and the way that these power conferences have become so developed and they're becoming even increasingly stronger and bigger, and there's been so much talk about possibly the SEC branching away and maybe the others following them and leaving the NCAA. Do you think that will have an impact on really officiating? And now could you see a day where we see these conferences separate from the NCAA?
I see them separating, and it's been talked for years because if you look at the NIL, things are getting away from the NCAA. Everything's getting away. Okay. Now they can't put a cap on it. Okay. I don't feel that the refereeing will have anything to do with the NCAA. I don't think it will. Right now, I feel the NCAA hurts refereeing. That's basically how I feel. And the reason why I say that is because they are a separate one. Why aren't they involved in development and going around the country and seeing some of the referees to protect their product? Why aren't they out there getting more minorities? Because it's been proven in the SWAC and other places I've refereed in. Hey, we need more minorities. We need more in this game to understand the players is running up and down the court, because it's like,
preach.
I mean, you see them, the minority, we don't have enough. Now, if you look at the NBA, they have a good balance. NBA has a good balance. You might see 3 brothers. You might see a woman. But they have a balance. College basketball, you don't see any balance. You might see a few games. I've always asked that when are we going to see 3 blacks in the Final Four national championship? When are we going to see it?
You spoke about that too. I saw that episode.
We're going to see it. Okay. I think the most we've ever had one time was 1997, and I was there. There was 5 of us in Indianapolis. There was 5 of us.
Wow.
Hanged up with about 5 of us. And you know what? And all 5 could referee. Okay. So when's the NCAA going to get involved in that? All right. When they're going to try to make it look like, quit trying to make it look like, well, we're going to throw you 1 in there and you're going to throw you 1 out there. And I've always said this, and I've said this before, being in the NCAA, I feel like I have to out-referee 33 1/3 of my race to get there. That's how I feel. Okay.
Free.
And it's like they should, if they want their product to be good, instead of you putting players out there, you had it for many years, and then the NIL done got away. You don't put these players out there, and you done made money off their backs. And it's time to quit talking about your billions. If you really care about it, take some money and resources and throw into it. And we're bona fide. We can teach players. We can teach guys how to referee. We can teach them how to referee. But nobody's teaching nobody how to ref. They're not teaching everybody. Wow. And they're just not. I'm a teacher, and I know I have to watch a lot of film. I got to watch a lot of film because if I want to be any good.
Right.
Okay. I got to watch a lot of film. I got to find my mistakes. Okay. The only time that you hear about some mistakes is when they're getting some heat. Basically. The other night, I watched Duke and TCU. I watched it. And they're talking about this game swung. It swung. There was a potential goaltend call.
I saw that. Yes. Yes.
Yeah. The coach got keyed up with the next minute.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. And I know the coach. And I know both coaches. All right. Now,
very good coach, too. Long history in the Big East with Pitt.
Right. Okay. The coach got teed up. And I know the coach. I know both coaches. Why are we being so defensive when we have a game that's so fast and you're going to make mistakes? Okay? Because the way I look at it is you done made a mistake. Now you want to penalize the person that's calling out to you that you made a mistake. See, and I've never been like that. I mean, it's different. It's changed. If the NCAA cared about anything, they would have some diversity. And they would have some diversity because I brought it up to the coordinator. Hey, why don't you get some diversity classes? And he looked at me like I got 2 damn heads. Okay. But we want to get everybody up and, we want to get into psychology of refereeing. It's like, hey, man, if you can't get into psychology of refereeing, you shouldn't be refereeing. Okay. And he wants to push buttons. And I said something to him like, why don't you get some diversity classes to teach referees how to handle our players out there? How to handle our players. Okay. How to communicate with our players. How to deal with our players. Okay. And they look at me like I got 2 heads. So I just went, okay, your product will struggle. And it would be better off if they broke away and did their own thing. I think they can do better. And I think the players would make more. And I think everybody will be a lot happier. I really feel that.
Yeah. Ted, I got a couple more questions before I let you get out of here. Really appreciate this out. What you spoke about, obviously, you got your podcast and your show. Talk about what made you get into this space of doing a show, and it's very good. I enjoy it. Obviously, even for researching this, that's what made me want to reach out to you because, again, you're one of those officials that, again, from technique, your calls, very sharp, not out showing out the coaches and all this other stuff in Washington. But you know what? You were strong in your convictions and your calls. And I was really, really impressed by that. And to see you in this space now, you provide a lot of wisdom and insight. What got you into this space and what made you continue in this?
Well, God will give you a word and you get the word somewhere along the way. 4 years ago, I was in some camp and I get up and I speak and I get the room very passionate and, talking about life, talking about refereeing, talking about, this business. And somebody told me, you know what, have you thought about starting a podcast? And I didn't think nothing about it until I got this year. I decided that, you know what, I was given that message a long time ago.
Yeah.
And then I have an IT person, my wife, and she said, why don't you do a podcast? There's no referees doing no podcasts. And I got 4 brothers. There's 4 of us that are going to be doing it together, right. And we're going back and forth and we're going to have a thing about race. And all 4 of us going to be on, okay? And she said that. And I said, what? She said, why don't you start a podcast? Because you just removed it. You're out of the game. You could have stayed, longer. A lot of people don't know. I worked 78 games last year, ACC tournament, NCAA tournament.
Wow. Really?
Yeah. Okay. And because I'm going to be 68 years old here soon, and I decided that 43 years is enough. Go out on top. Okay. Don't be fans are yelling for you to retire. Okay. just leave it. Okay. Just leave it after 43 years. And my wife said, people will gravitate to you. Yes. They will, because you're one of those guys that you stood up for everybody. You stood up for the integrity of the game. And I'm not any world beater. I'm not perfect. However, the last 10 years, it taught me something about myself. You know, it taught me something to be more compassionate and to care about the coaches. I mean, to care about the players. I'm just a different dude now, man. And I never realized that your grandkids will do that to you, you know. And you just look and you go, my wife says, you don't have nothing to prove. You've already done it all. You've done it all. Okay. And just do something else. And I want to help other officials, give them what's the game all about. And this is what you're able to expect. Mm-hmm. You know, you go to camp, this is what you're going to see. This is what you're going to get. And I decided that I would just be the first official to come right out and say stuff, you know, but say stuff that's going to teach someone. You know, I'm not saying things to hurt anybody, but to teach one, you know, and that's what I'm doing. You know, basically teaching. I mean, the only thing they're ever going to get into is the race part of it because it's there. Okay. And you have to understand that the race there, and I was born April 6, 1958. And I remember Martin Luther King was assassinated 2 days before my 10th birthday. And I remember my mama fell on the floor. You know, I remember that like it was yesterday, you know, and if there's anybody that can help make a change and help people, that's where I put my position in. I mean, that's what I put myself into. I mean, I believe in that because I didn't have anybody of my own race that was helping me when I first started. Okay. I mean, it was Jim Burr, Tim Higgins, and I got around all those guys and I learned about John Thompson and my dad, and they helped. But now the officials come along, they don't have anybody. They really don't, because you got clusters of people and everybody's so everybody's staying to themselves and you don't know who's in the group and how do I break in that group of people, you know? So that's what, so I'm here to stay if the good Lord's willing, but I'm there to bring the news to everybody.
Yeah. And where can people find that your show on YouTube?
Okay, it's on YouTube channel. You'll see me have something on TikTok. You'll see me have something on Facebook, and you'll see me have Instagram, and that's where you can find me on the YouTube channel. Yeah, you know, that's where I'll be.
It's youtube.com TV Teddy. Unbelievable, man, and definitely tremendous insight. Couple more before I let you get on that. Ted,
I'm not going anywhere.
I appreciate it. Ted, you know what? Have you ever been in a space, and obviously you have had the experience and you're legendary, and that's why Rick and I had said before you even came on, the platform we utilize, it's all about educating and really enlightening our audience to, you know, when we were on Sirius XM and stuff and really doing the show, it was all about making sure that people in the present don't forget about the past, because it'll in the future. And that's where we always say, you know what, let's bring back our greats. And obviously contributed to the game of basketball in so many different ways. I'll ask you, have you ever been in that space of seeing so many great talented players? Did you ever see a guy or seeing some players that you found yourself watching them more of a fan than officiating because of their talent that just really stood out to you?
I think after years of being around, like I had Shaquille O'Neal when he played at LSU. I had Anthony Hardaway when he was at Memphis. I had all these great players, Ray Allen and Allen Iverson, and I mean, you just Paul Pierce and Rip Hamilton. And once you have them all, you know, once you're a ref, you quit watching. You quit watching. You quit admiring players. You just called the plays as they came. You know, you didn't see their faces and their number. But the first time I was out there and I saw the Fab Five, you know, I watched college basketball change overnight. It was 1986, and I was at Illinois the night before with Kendall Gill and Bartow in that game. And I was at Michigan the next night. And sure enough, I saw them long baggy pants, them black shoes and black socks. And the next night, well, the night before, they had them hot pants on, you know. And I said, my goodness gracious. And I've seen college basketball change, you know. And I saw it change overnight. Just saw it change just like that, and it was like, and I was admired, like I was at all, this is a bad vibe. This is one's off, that I kept talking about, because I was just sitting in the sauna with Cassie Russell all the time in Columbus, Ohio, and Cassie Russell would talk about, hey man, we got some players coming. We get this Fab Five and whatever it is. And I'd be sitting in the sauna next time, get ready for the season, and we would talk about Michigan basketball. So I knew about Michigan before I even got there, But I've just seen basketball change so much, and I don't know where it's going to go. I mean, but hey, it's a growing sport, and it will continue to grow somehow.
Yeah, I got to ask you this before closing out. Yeah. Just finding this out, the NCAA tournament, and obviously that Final Four, you worked that game, if I'm not mistaken, that Duke and UNLV.
Yes.
And you know what? The conspiracy theorists say, you know what? The NCAA and Jerry Tarkanian, they didn't want to see them perhaps have a back-to-back championship. When you look at that, and obviously charging calls, and obviously is a judgmental call. But Ted, that game, as you look back on it, could it possibly have been like a wink, wink, nod, nod, little nudge to for the NCAA to make sure that we didn't have UNLV and talk back in the championship game?
Well, I've seen that game 100 times. I've seen the game 100 times. A couple of UNLV players didn't show up to play. Okay, they didn't. I mean, it wasn't. Larry Johnson was carrying it, and he was carrying it, and I feel that they didn't have a real great game that they had. If they had almost the same team from the year before.
Yep.
And the year before, they beat them by 30.
Yes.
Beat them by 30. I was home watching the game on TV. Yes. They beat them by 30. And when I got that game, I went, oh my God. Oh my God. We got who? Duke and LV. I think that now they can say about conspiracies, and they're saying about there's conspiracy with TCU and Duke, and there's, everybody's saying like all kinds of stuff. I feel that UNLV did not play their best game. I feel they didn't. I mean, there was a few rebounds that I felt Ackles could have grabbed. I still remember his name, Ackles.
Wow, George Ackles. Wow.
Okay. If he got the rebound at one time, if he would have jumped up and grabbed the rebound, but he didn't, but it was a rebound go over his head, And it was just like, I remember that game like it was yesterday, like it was yesterday. I can't speak for the NCAA. I was a young kid. I was 31 years old. So, hey, don't blame me for my youth, okay?
You know what? You're right, because they were undefeated. And obviously, you know what? You're bound to have sort of a letdown in that space. Who do you have going to the Final Four and cutting the nets down in Indianapolis?
Well, a lot of people are probably not going to think this way, but I think it will be a Big Ten final.
Wow.
Okay. It's just good. You look, you got Michigan State on one end, you got Michigan on the other bracket. Okay. I think the stars are aligned, and I'm just guessing, because Michigan has probably been good all year. And that's who I would like to see play. The one team they call up north above there, they call them little brother. I'd like to see them play. I would like to see them play out of entertainment purposes.
Oh, I see.
Just out of entertainment, just pure entertainment, because what's going to be like. Okay.
Yeah. But that means that the Big Ten won college football, because obviously Indiana wins the national championship. Right. And then you have a situation where, if that's the case, the Big Ten will win in college basketball. And I've said before, where this illusion that I've said before that the Cinderella team, so all this other stuff, that's not going to happen. That's gone. VCU, George Mason, that's gone.
That's gone.
11 seed Cinderella will be probably someone, obviously Big 12, Big 10, and obviously the thing that's left now is perhaps maybe the 5th seed in the Big East between St. John's and UConn, but
Right.
the little Cinderellas of yesteryear are totally gone.
Right.
And
Right. They're totally gone, and I like to see it. I mean, I just want to see. I don't know. I just want to see dog eat dog. That's what I want to see. Okay, because I watch Michigan and Michigan State game, and I know Izzo pretty well, and I just like watching that. I mean, it's just something about that when them two get together. Because it's not how it used to be. I mean, back when John Beeline. See, a lot of people don't know John Beeline was my high school 10th grade teacher. He taught me in 10th grade. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. John Beeline did. Yes, sir. In West Virginia, he was my high school 10th grade teacher. A lot of people don't know that. A lot of people don't know. You know,
that's amazing stuff. I remember Beeline and stuff like that when he was at Michigan and they played in the national championship game against Louisville Cardinals and stuff, and really had to see that. And that was a great game between Michigan and Louisville. Listen, Ted, really appreciate it. People out there, check out the show. It is very, very insightful. Ted, listen, we got to do this again. I'm going to connect us with Rick Mahorn via the group text and stuff. Listen, happy early birthday, because at 10 days after yours, I got a birthday April 16th.
We have to go back to, happy birthday back and forth. Hey, I'll be 68 years old, and I tell everybody, says, is that his real hair and all kinds of stuff, and just hey man, it's all real. Okay, so it's like, hey, I'm living the dream too. Okay, I'm living the dream. I go, hey, I don't know what to tell you. I must have good living. I mean, I've had good living, so I can't complain about anything. But I appreciate it, and thanks for having me. And please stay in touch, definitely.
Absolutely. Legendary. Mr. Ted Valentine joining me here in the Bottom Line Sports Show. What an unbelievable treat. Let's make sure we give him a round of applause. Thanks, Ted. Appreciate it. Unbelievable. And wow. I want to close the show out. It has been amazing. And I tell you this, what an incredible show. What a lot of insight. And the biggest thing is he didn't sugarcoat the truth. He didn't sugarcoat it at all. He didn't sugarcoat any of this stuff at all. I got to agree with him when the fact is he talks about the NCAA not really being diverse. The NCAA, the biggest thing is this illusion that we've seen great basketball. I am super, super happy that we've had great basketball. But if coaches are being judged on success in college basketball in this day and age and era, and if you're not from a Power 4 conference, SEC, ACC, Big 12, Big 12, SEC, Big 12, Big 10, and ACC. I'll throw the Big East in there as a Power 5, but they only had 2 teams. If you don't have a program that's in those Power 5 conferences, I'm trying to figure out what is the expectation for the fan bases that are out there. And I wanted to make sure I make this clear, because those that know, Penny Hardaway is a dear friend of the show, dear friend of mine for many years. And I'm really just baffled by so much of just things that were negatively thrown at him. His job was in place. And the question of former NBA players being head coaches and stuff. And look, right now we're witnessing Hubert Davis go through this whole process. And the Hubert situation is a little bit different, right? Because he's in a Power 5 conference. He's in a Power 4 conference with North Carolina, the history, the expectation, they have the resources, right? But you had to also understand they lost Caleb Wilson, and that changed the dynamic. And as we're looking at outside of this, my biggest question has always been to the fans of Memphis and the Memphis Tigers. Like, winning 20 games don't mean anything anymore. This whole illusion that we got to get to the NCAA tournament, we got to have a deep run in the NCAA tournament. Let me give you a prime example of what's going to happen with the majority of coaches that have success in non-Power 4 or Power 5 conferences. So what's going to happen is you win 20-some-odd games. You get to the NCAA tournament by winning the automatic bid, especially if you don't have this, you don't have a challenging schedule. But if you win your conference and you get to the NCAA tournament, you end up winning there. And if you don't win your first round game, you're able to possibly go on and be able to position yourself to get another job. Look at the latest coach for the Providence Friars. He went 2 years at Arkansas State, went to the CBI first year, and to the NIT second year. He gets to South Florida and does an unbelievable job. And make no mistake, I'm not knocking him at all. Congratulations to him. But I'm looking at this and I'm saying, wait a minute. He didn't win multiple games in the NCAA tournament. He didn't do that, right? He basically won and got his team to the NCAA tournament. And on top of that, they lost. They lost in the tournament. They lost. So I'm really, and Brian Hodgson did a great job, right? Won the AAC. He won the conference tournament. But he gets a Power 5 job with Providence. And so when I look at Penny, I've said to him personally all the time, I said, you probably stayed too long because winning now and the expectations have changed. Listen, I just talked to, Ted Valentine. The days of a High Point, VCU, UMBC, they won a game or two. Yeah, that can still happen. But gone are the days of VCU, George Mason, these teams that have these improbable runs, even Davidson with Steph Curry back then and having this success. Those days are gone because the game has changed. And what the NCAA and more importantly, these power conferences have done to really give this illusion and fool everybody is this thing called SOS, strength of schedule. So now you got to go out and you got to not only schedule these teams, you have to beat these teams in order to get a higher seed. But still in all, the NIL money has changed the landscape of college basketball. So some programs out there, mainly like a school like Memphis, you have to adjust your way of thinking and understanding where you are. And until maybe you get into an ACC, maybe you get into something where the AAC and the A10 merge, and now you can perhaps maybe take a step up and be somewhere near a Power 6 conference. And now you can get multiple teams into the NCAA tournament. You can't expect coaches in that league to have a ton of success and then stay there. Because Brian Hodgson did 1 year at South Florida. Tournament, gone. Good night, God bless. When you have a player and a coach that stays that long and has had success, it's really hard to figure out. That's my, if anything, my soapbox moment. And I really, really want to get that off my chest because we're looking at this tournament and the Sweet 16, and we're looking and saying, oh my God, this has been so great. It's been unbelievable. It's been this, it's been that. And realistically, all you're seeing is Big 10, Big 12, ACC, okay? And then let's throw in the Big East. Big East only got 2 teams. I could not believe that at all. The Atlantic 10 Conference got the same amount of teams that the Big East got. That's where college basketball is at. And it's only going to get worse. You're going to see the Big 10, SEC get 10, 8 teams, because at the end of the day, they're saying, look, our 10th, 11th, 12th team will be better than perhaps some of these other schools that you would give at large bids to. And the biggest thing is they'll always go back to the strength of schedule. One of the things as I close out the show, I got to say there's a reason why I'm wearing this Tampa Bay Buccaneers gear. Because you know what? Normally, I would put my Buccaneers stuff away when the season's over and move on, right? But I got to shout out to Levante David. 14 years as a Tampa Bay Buccaneer, decided to hang it up, an unbelievable career. And his decision to retire, announcing it today on Tuesday, really had me go back and think, Mike Evans, I don't know if I really like the way you left on the note you left with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. You know, not to say that Levante David, if he decided to move on, you know, Levante David retired. I get it. That's a different setup. But you can just tell, and it just seemed the way that Mike Evans, you know, from the note that was put out, his agent did more talking than he did. I was really surprised that he couldn't stand in front of that media, or better yet, put out something. You got social media, and just thank the fans, because the picture that he has painted was clearly one that obviously he don't really care for Todd Bowles. He don't really care for Baker Mayfield. Like those things, even if they're not true, it's out there because the way it's done. And the biggest change and the biggest thing about it, he went within the conference. You went to San Francisco. It isn't like he went to the Tennessee Titans and all this stuff. Bruh, that I don't know. Just doesn't feel right. And I know that obviously the Buccaneers, you know, will put on a great brave face because you know what? He's a legend. And I'm quite certain that when his career is over, he's going to come back. And I just hope that, you know what, the way this played out and how it played out, you know what, some way you can give a little bit more insight, because I think that was an unfair attack on Baker Mayfield, Todd Bowles, all those guys. But this is about Levante David. Kudos and salute to him. Unbelievable career, 14 years, linebacker, says a lot, won a Super Bowl that was there, and through it all, you know, really was a Buccaneer and will continue to be a Buccaneer for life. That about wraps up the show. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Go check out the Beeline Sports Show on YouTube.com. Check it out, man, because there's so much video that's there. And I'm going to post something that really talks about the fact is that this is the history of the Bottom Line Sports Show, from its infant stages to the beginning to all the way to Sirius XM to back here. So we got a lot of content that's there from guys like Penny Hardaway, Charles Oakley, Cato June, all of us that have been a part of this phenomenal ride. And we're just getting started here on YouTube and the Bottom Line Sports Show. Like to thank once again Ted Valentine. Make sure you check out his show. Obviously, the big fellow Rick Mahorn. Enjoy the Sweet 16. I'm going to pull for St. John's. You know, I got to pull for St. John's and UConn. How fitting would it be to have St. John's and UConn doing battle in a city that is a Big East city? It's only right? You don't want to have Duke and Michigan State playing in a Big East city. No, St. John's, UConn, for the right to go to the Final Four in the city of Georgetown Warriors. And you know what? I'm pulling for the Johnnies. And let's give credit to Rick Pitino. I said before, and I say it again, you know, for whatever people feel about him, the man knows how to coach. And even Ted Valentine spoke about the fact is the coaching is totally different in this day and age of college basketball. Much thanks and support. Appreciate the love. Make sure if you didn't check it live, whenever you watch it, we say we appreciate you. We're back next Wednesday. Pistons got a game. We're back next Wednesday. Stay up with us. Make sure you hit me up and follow me on the social media platforms on X as well as on Instagram. For Rick Mahorn, I'm Gerald Brown. You know what we do and you know what we say. Peace. Have a great one.